I don't like LeBron James. Let me say for the record, I have the ultimate respect for LeBron James. To me, he's in my top 5. Do I think he's better than Michael? No. I don't give a fuck if he scores 80,000 points.
Knock it off. God damn, boy, you bronzexuals be killing me.
Bronzexuals.
The atmosphere suddenly shifts and social media starts going crazy. Because whenever a comedian jumps into the GOAT debate and openly criticizes a basketball icon, everyone tunes in. That's exactly what unfolded when Aries Spears appeared on Byron Scott's Fast Break podcast and launched into a passionate defense of Michael Jordan while taking direct shots at LeBron James. The interview clip first surfaced in late February and only grew louder through early March 2026, fueling reaction content, viral memes, and non-stop debate across social platforms. Here's how it unfolded. Aries came onto Byron's show bringing his usual mix of sharp impressions, energetic delivery, and unapologetic opinions. What began as casual banter quickly evolved into a much more serious basketball discussion. Spears revisited many of the familiar criticisms aimed at LeBron, arguing that his influence becomes less impressive once longevity and media narratives are removed from the equation, and the focus shifts purely to defining championship moments and competitive mentality. He mixed those arguments with comedic impressions before transitioning into stronger points. According to Spears, Jordan's ruthless mindset, undefeated finals record at 6-0, and unmatched cultural impact place him in a category LeBron simply hasn't reached. That blend of humor and controversy made the segment perfect fuel for viral clips and endless reposts online.
Athletes that people have said have been the most popular, impactful athletes of all time. Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan. As popular as LeBron is he globally famous? Like on the level of Jordan? No. Has he impacted the game at the level of Jordan? No.
Here's the angle most people are overlooking. Aries Spears didn't suddenly come up with these opinions overnight. He's been firmly planted in the Jordan-era reigns supreme camp for a long time. Over the years, he's repeatedly joked about the debate in public, often using satire to emphasize his views on mentality, competitiveness, and cultural influence. But this interview felt different. It started off lighthearted and comedic, then gradually shifted into something that sounded more like a carefully prepared critique. Spears pointed to specific game moments, clutch performances, body language during pressure situations, and even the advantages that come with today's media era. He also used viral social clips to challenge some of the strongest narratives surrounding LeBron James. That mix of humor, detail, and controversy is exactly why the segment transformed from a funny podcast moment into a major viral news clip almost immediately.
I get it. I'm a LeBron fan. People think I'm not. I am. I recognize his greatness. But he ain't MJ. He's not with MJ.
Let's get into the details. Aries Spears argued that LeBron James has carefully shaped his public image through longevity, media influence, and message control rather than dominating with the same kind of unforgettable finals takeovers associated with Michael Jordan. Spears claimed that the modern basketball landscape, with non-stop media access, player empowerment, and powerful representation behind the scenes, gives LeBron advantages in how his legacy is presented and perceived. On the other hand, Spears insisted that Jordan's legacy is built on untouchable finals success and an intimidating presence that changed how opponents approached the game against him. Whether fans agree or disagree, his argument struck at the heart of the GOAT debate that always resurfaces. Do statistics and longevity matter more, or do iconic moments and championship dominance carry greater weight? That's where the conversation became especially explosive. Comedy has a way of making bold opinions feel convincing. When someone with Spears' delivery and impersonation skills mocks a subject, it lands differently than a simple stats comparison online. He leaned heavily into those famous impressions, poking fun at analysts and media personalities who defend LeBron, before driving home an emotional comparison. Jordan inspired fear, while LeBron built a global brand. For some viewers, that distinction sounded sharp and insightful. For others, it came across as selective storytelling designed to satisfy audiences already leaning toward Jordan. Either way, the interview sparked massive engagement online. Reaction videos, debate shows, fan rebuttals, and highlight pages replaying the segment nonstop across social media.
Players today, the young generation, athletes bigger, stronger, faster. Are they wearing LeBron sneakers? Nope, they're wearing Jordans. Jordan ain't played professional basketball in just over 20 years, and he's still the favorite in terms of the standard.
Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This debate didn't appear out of nowhere. It landed during a time when the NBA is already packed with competing narratives. Rising stars like Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic are building careers that continue reshaping how fans view leadership, versatility, and positional value in basketball. At the same time, conversations around coaching philosophies, load management, player influence, and media control remain constant throughout the league. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan's increased visibility in media and public appearances has reignited a wave of nostalgia that keeps his legacy front and center. That backdrop is important because Aries Spears wasn't simply criticizing LeBron James. He was pushing a broader argument. In an era dominated by branding, controlled narratives, and non-stop media influence, who truly deserves to be called the GOAT? Audiences are already eager to pick sides in that conversation. Spears understood exactly how to make his message resonate. By mixing sharp humor with viral impressions, he lowered the defenses of casual viewers who might normally rush to defend LeBron. It became a strategic media play. Use comedy to shape the framing of the debate first, then allow analysts, commentators, and social media personalities to reinforce the argument with statistics, clips, and deeper analysis afterward. That creates a powerful two-step effect. First, the audience laughs. Then, they slowly begin accepting a new perspective. That's a major reason the online reaction spread so quickly. Funny clips exploded across social media almost immediately, and soon after, waves of analysts and fans jumped in with lengthy rebuttals, supporting arguments, and endless debate threads.
You know, they say, let me ask you this. They go, Michael couldn't have taken a bum Cavs team to the finals the way LeBron did.
Now keep in mind, that's a good point.
No, it's not a good point, because keep in mind what I just said. Mike took a coke-infested bum Bulls team, and he lost in the second round, or in the first round, second game, or whatever the fuck it was, to the Celtics. 5 Hall of Famers, then champions. You don't think Mike could have took that Cavs team to the finals in a conference that wasn't as strong when Mike was in the... That's why they called it the Leaston Conference. When LeBron was in the East, it was at its weakest.
Now, let's look at the backlash, because the reaction across sports media was immediate and intense. Supporters of LeBron James quickly pushed back by highlighting the full scope of his career, the massive statistical totals, unmatched longevity, ability to thrive across different eras and teammates, clutch playoff performances with multiple franchises, and the way he transformed player empowerment in the NBA. Many argued that Aries Spears was aiming more for shock value and entertainment than offering a truly balanced comparison. Fans flooded social media with long threads of playoff footage showing LeBron taking over games in crucial moments. Others emphasized that comparing him directly to Michael Jordan isn't simple because the rules, pace, and style of play between their eras were dramatically different. According to those critics, any honest GOAT discussion requires much more nuance than a viral soundbite can provide. But in the end, the segment didn't settle the debate at all. It only deepened the divide between both sides. There's also a larger lesson hidden underneath all the noise. Young athletes often fall into the trap of letting media narratives shape their identity before they've fully established themselves on the court. Spears' viral appearance showed how quickly public perception can be influenced when humor, social clips, and strong opinions combine into a compelling narrative. For the next generation of stars, the takeaway is straightforward. Build your reputation through performance, discipline, and consistency instead of reacting to every headline or online debate. Players who focus too heavily on crafting a social media image leave themselves vulnerable to criticism and mockery. But those who stay locked in on basketball usually allow the outside chatter to fade over time. In many ways, Spears' appearance became a real-time example of how powerful narrative framing can be in modern sports culture.
When Jordan was in the East, it was at its strongest. The defense, the physicality, the Knicks, the Cavs, the Pistons, the Pacers. The fuck out of here, man.
Well, no, I remember.
Now the discussion shifts to legacy, because that's ultimately where the entire debate leads. Aries Spears' passionate defense of Michael Jordan wasn't centered purely on numbers or championships. It was rooted in cultural memory. In Spears' view, Jordan didn't just dominate basketball, he transformed the very idea of a global sports superstar. He argued that cultural influence has to be included in any serious GOAT conversation, and that perspective has been shared by many fans for years. At the same time, culture evolves. While Jordan's mystique remains untouchable for a huge portion of basketball fans, supporters of LeBron James counter that LeBron has created his own form of modern cultural dominance, one tied more closely to activism, media platforms, player empowerment, and direct influence over today's NBA landscape. That's why debates about the greatest player ever can't rely on statistics alone. Cultural impact matters too, and Spears clearly understood that angle. The challenge for critics, however, is that comedy often strips away nuance. Sharp jokes and viral punchlines can simplify complicated conversations into emotionally charged narratives that spread faster than detailed analysis ever could. The aftermath of the clip proved exactly that. Spears' comments triggered a chain reaction, viral reposts across social media, coverage from mainstream sports outlets, reaction segments on television, and endless podcast discussions responding to the controversy. For a comedian, that kind of attention is incredibly valuable. For sports culture, it becomes another turning point in the never-ending Jordan versus LeBron debate. Spears gained massive engagement and visibility, while the GOAT discussion once again reached millions of viewers. Sometimes moments like this genuinely shift opinions, but more often they strengthen loyalties people already had. Either way, the segment achieved the primary goal of viral content. It completely controlled the conversation for days. Which leads to the unavoidable question, did Aries Spears truly expose LeBron, or did he simply revive an old argument with sharper delivery and comedic flair? If you believe narrative control, image management, and cultural influence carry more weight than raw statistics alone, then Spears probably landed a powerful hit. He reminded audiences that GOAT debates are emotional and cultural just as much as they are analytical. But if you prioritize advanced metrics, context-driven analysis, film study, and the sustained excellence of 2 decades at the top, then Spears' appearance was ultimately just an entertaining and provocative performance rather than a definitive argument against LeBron's greatness. No matter where someone stands, moments like this force fans to explain why they support their side, and that alone keeps the debate alive. If you think Spears made a strong case, point to the defining moments and cultural influence that support his argument. If you think he missed the mark, bring the playoff footage, clutch performances, game winners, and series where LeBron completely changed outcomes. One thing is certain, the GOAT debate never really ends, and viral moments like this only make it louder, more emotional, and more entertaining.